All right, let's just get straight to it. No, you're not reading that wrong. In Turkey, a pretty standard piece of computer hardware that cost 500 lira just exploded to 4,000 lira in half a year. Now, this isn't just your typical inflation. This is a symptom of a massive global crisis that's completely rewiring the world of tech. So what on earth does a chatbot in California have to do with the price of a RAM stick in Istanbul? Well, let's break it all down. It all boils down to one thing: artificial intelligence. The AI boom, everything from ChatGPT to Gemini, needs a truly mind-boggling amount of computing power. And that power requires a very specific, super high-end type of computer memory. And that, my friends, has kicked off a global feeding frenzy like we have never seen before. And just look at this breakdown. By 2026, a whopping 70% of all the world's high-end memory is being straight up devoured by AI data centers. We're talking about the giants, the hyperscalers like Google, Microsoft, Meta. They are buying up the entire global supply years in advance, leaving just the scraps for everyone else, for the rest of us. And let me be perfectly clear about this. This isn't just another temporary shortage like we saw during the pandemic. The experts are calling this a structural reset. It's a deep, fundamental shift in who gets to buy the building blocks of technology. The priority is no longer you, the consumer. The priority is the AI giants, period. So why is this basically a zero-sum game? Well, here's the deal. To make that super profitable AI memory, the stuff called HBM, manufacturers like Samsung have to completely change their production lines. And here's the real kicker. For every single unit of that AI memory they make, they lose the ability to make 3 units of the standard RAM that goes into our phones and our computers. They are literally making less of our stuff to make more of theirs. And the result? A price shockwave that's hammering, well, pretty much everything. In just the last year, DRAM prices have shot up over 170%. Enterprise SSDs are up 55%. And get this, even old-school hard drives are up over 45% because data centers are just buying anything they can get their hands on for storage. The very foundation of computing is getting way more expensive. Okay, so you've got this insane demand from a few huge players. What does that actually mean on the ground? Well, it's created this huge divide, splitting the entire tech world into 2 camps, the winners and the losers. And this chart just lays it all out, plain and simple. On one side, you've got the memory makers, Samsung, Micron. They have all the power. Their entire 2026 production capacity already 100% sold out. They're demanding cash up front. On the other side, well, that's PC makers like Dell and Lenovo, and ultimately, that's us. They're left fighting for the scraps, facing wait times of over a year, and they're being forced to just cancel their affordable models to survive. Look, getting your head around this is so important. If this explainer is helping you connect the dots, seriously, follow and share it so more people can understand what's really going on with the tech they buy. So, that's the global storm. But to really understand why that 500 lira RAM stick became 4,000 lira, we have to see how this global problem gets magnified into a local catastrophe. In Turkey, they have a name for it: the ikinci shock, the second shock. Here's the brutal math. You start with the global price hike, let's call it 100%. But in Turkey, you have to stack the volatile US dollar to lira exchange rate right on top. Then you pile on import taxes. All of a sudden, that 100% global jump turns into a 600% or even bigger price explosion for anyone trying to buy locally. And believe me, this isn't just some theory. We're seeing reports from sources on the ground, like the tech publication Technopot, saying that local distributors are already bracing for prices to double again. The pain for regular people and small businesses is happening right now, and it's severe. The reality on the street is grim. See, there's this global allocation system where suppliers decide who gets the limited product. And guess who's at the back of the line? Yep, Turkey. Major retailers have empty shelves. Prices are changing daily, sometimes even hourly, so price tags are becoming useless. And because suppliers demand cash up front, all those financing options that small businesses rely on to buy servers and computers, they're just disappearing. So what's the end game here? What's the real fallout from this RAMmageddon, as some have started calling it? Well, the fallout is going to hit the most vulnerable part of the market first, and it's going to hit hard. And this right here, this is a devastating forecast. The sub-$500 PC market, we're talking about the laptops and desktops that are absolutely essential for students, for families, for developing countries, it's becoming financially impossible to make them anymore. Memory used to be about 15% of a PC's cost. Now it's over 35%. So what are manufacturers doing? They're just walking away from the budget market entirely. And the impact on the whole PC market? It's just staggering. I mean, the top analyst firm IDC had to literally rip up their old forecasts. They're now predicting an 11% free fall in 2026. And let's be clear, this isn't a dip. It's the sharpest collapse the industry has seen in more than a decade. Now, a crisis like this doesn't just happen overnight. It was a perfect storm. First, the pandemic wrecked supply chains. Then, the AI boom created this crazy, unprecedented demand. And then came the final nail in the coffin, a single deal by OpenAI that reportedly locked up 40% of the world's memory production. That was the final trigger for the RAMmageddon that is now absolutely gutting the budget PC market. So if you can't afford to buy a powerful computer anymore, what's next? Well, we could be heading for a massive shift in how we even think about technology, a future where we might not own our devices at all, but instead just get access to them. The big alternative everyone's talking about is cloud-based computing. You know the idea. Instead of all the heavy lifting happening on a machine on your desk, it happens on some giant server farm miles away, and you just stream it over the internet. And yeah, this is the future a lot of tech leaders are betting on. As buying powerful hardware becomes a luxury, the only real option left for millions of people and businesses will be to switch to subscription services, basically renting their computer from the very same companies who caused the shortage in the first place. Which brings us to the final and honestly the most critical question here. The whole idea of the personal computer revolution was built on ownership, on freedom, on control. Is this crisis, this AI-driven crisis, forcing us to trade all of that away for a permanent subscription? You tell me.